Hello, hello, peace and love to everyone. Welcome to my channel. For all the new people that's coming to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much. When you come in, please hit the subscribe button and hit the notification so you'll know when I'm going live, and also hit that like button. We are moving on up, guys. We are growing. I'm so excited. Excuse me. And tonight's going to be short, but I wanted to bring awareness to a situation that is happening all over our country. Um, and it is really a problem that we need to address, and that is people having to live in motels. It is becoming a epidemic, the homeless situation in our country. Um, and it seems like we as a country are dealing with everyone else's problems instead of our own. But the the fact is that we have a problem that we need to address, and that is this homeless situation. It's terrible. It's terrible. So, hold on one second, guys. Hold on. Let me let my family know that I don't went live. I told y'all I gotta live in the house. All right, I'm back, guys. I just had to let my family know I have a lived in house. Like I said, you will hear everything in my house, from the dog barking to my grandchildren to my husband to whatever. So don't pay that no attention. But I wanted to talk tonight about living in a hotel. As I was saying, that it has become a huge epidemic in our country. Um, and we're not really working on the problem. We're sending billions of dollars to Ukraine and other places when our veterans are living on the streets and our families. So we have to ask ourselves what is really going on. Um, and how do we fix this, and why our country is not paying more attention to people who are homeless living on the streets. I don't understand. So tonight we're just going to go over a few stories of living on the street and what people having to go through. But not only that, I am going to also um, bring to you um, not necessarily solutions, but maybe some helpful hints to help you if you are in the situation that you're living in a hotel and you need help. So let me play this first. Let me pull this up right quick. Okay. What I'm about to share with you guys is a story of a lady. And I'm going to share a couple of stories with you guys. But this lady is living with a hotel with her children. And what she's having to endure living in a hotel. Now, this is brought to you by the News and Observer, their channel, News and Observer channel. They have quite a few followers. So if you like to keep up on the latest in news, please subscribe to their channel. We're using their channel um, for reporting and learning purposes. I'm going to put the disclosure up. We are uh, under the uh, copyright fair use. But I want to play this for you guys so you can kind of understand what people are going through. And you can check out the full story on the News and Observer. Let's look at some of this.
We were placed here, and in my mind, I kept saying, this isn't home, and I'm not going to call it home because I'm getting out of here. Right? And here we are at day 60, and I'm still getting out of here. This isn't what we had. This isn't what we wanted. This is not what I worked for. This is not what I strive for. I didn't go to college and get degrees to say, okay, we're going to leave an extended stay. This was not a part of my goal. This was not a part of my future plan.
So let me
Your
point
heart
this out.
is searching for a home, but in your mind,
Let me point this out while we're just kind of looking at this. This is a family of four. This is a lady who has worked, went to college, and for whatever reason, she finds herself uh, in the situation where she's homeless and she's having to live in this extended stay hotel, which is happening all over our country. I know Atlanta, it is really, really bad in Atlanta. The situation is out of control. And, we have to ask ourselves what is going on where it's cheaper, it seems, to live in a hotel than for them to rent. What is our government doing about it? We talk about everything else, but, one thing about it is, like I always say, there's fights to fight, real fights to fight. Um, and this is one of them. We need to um, really rally together and get our government to really look at the fact that the homeless in America is an epidemic and it's out of control. It's out of control. So this family, like I said, you can go to the uh, News Observer and watch the whole story.
it's bad.
So as you see, she has four children. Um, and sometimes it's just we find ourselves in bad situations. It may have been a relationship. She may have gotten fired from her job. And the sad part is that when we bring our children into situations like this, the children suffer. These kids still have to go to school. If any of them are in any extracurricular activities, I'm sure with her being in this homeless situation, she can't afford it. And kids are cruel. They're probably kids at school making fun that they live in a hotel. We do thank God that they at least have a roof over their head and they're not out in the cold. But this is a serious situation, guys. And I'm sure that if we all take a look, we have either come across someone who's homeless or someone in our family has been homeless or has chosen, that they to live in a hotel. So, and I also looked at, let me run this by this young lady. Okay, let me, let's see here. Okay. And this next young lady I'm gonna show you guys, and one thing I want to say, this is an adult conversation. You can have your older children watch if you choose, but It is an adult conversation because these are people who are living in hotels, living in bad situations. So we want to show you this young lady right here. And please hit that like button as you come in. Please hit the like button. It really helps if you hit the like button. Now, living in a hotel, this is by a lovely fly lady. Now, this was a few years back that she did this. And I did a snippet on her about a year ago. And from that point, she's kind of faded off YouTube. But the next video kind of helps us understand some of why she winded up where she was and some of the problems that she was having.
What other choice do I have? And then another thing that happened today was I went over to my old apartment now, and I was just trying to check the mail, and I seen that I had the big fat orange eviction sticker on my freaking door, which was wildly embarrassing. And it was just embarrassing. I tried to hurry up and walk to that damn mailbox and get my damn mail as fast as I could to get the hell out of there so nobody would see me. But I did notice and see that my neighbors were there. They were still there. Mind you, we were all supposed to get evicted. And that's not to say that I want to.
Okay, so one thing that she's pointing out is the embarrassment that she's going through by being evicted. I mean, who wouldn't be embarrassed? Kind of like somebody repossessing your car. I've been in that situation in my life when I was younger that I've had a car repossessed before, and it is embarrassing, because I can imagine having a big sticker on your door of eviction is embarrassing. But you got to think about the psychological weight and probably depression and things that people go through, as well as what it does to you physically, the mental strain and stress of, becoming homeless and having to live in a hotel. I can't even imagine what the young lady's going through, but I will say this: we can do better. We can do better, guys. Our government can do better. You know, our country is one of the greatest countries on this earth, and we got all these people homeless. I think Atlanta alone and the surrounding counties have at least 30,000 people homeless. Okay. I know LA is double that number of homeless. It is an epidemic, and this young lady is having to live here. Now, I will say this: when the young lady said that she had left and her neighbors were still in the was still in the apartment, but they were supposed to get evicted too. One thing that a lot of people don't know: when you get a notice of eviction, you have to answer it at the court in 7 days. If you do not answer it in 7 days, they will get a writ of possession. And that writ of possession gives them the right to go in that following day and put all your stuff out. In Georgia, most cities have that notice timeline that you have to answer. You cannot just ignore the eviction uh, process once you get that paperwork. Once you get that paperwork from the court, I'm not talking about the sticker that the rental company put on your door. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the legal paperwork that comes from the court. Once you receive that, you have 7 days to answer. You have to go down to the court and write an answer. Then once that happens, then it goes through the trial. And normally people, depending on where you are, that gives you a month or 2 months sometimes before it even pops up in court. And then even once it pops up in court, the judge can give you so many days if they still decide to evict you. So that gives you a little longer to be in the place versus you not answering. If you do not answer after 7 days, they can get a writ of possession and immediately put your stuff out. So remember that you have to answer. Let's go back here to lovely fly lady and listen to a little bit more what she has to say.
To see them in that predicament as well. But if something was granted for them, in terms of the motion to stay, then why was mine denied and they're still there? today. I don't know. I know the last thing I need to do is dwell on it and worry about it, but it's just kind of like a hurtful feeling. I can understand it. Like, I mean, granted, I have to hold myself accountable for some stuff as well, but I can just understand if overall I was just a horrible tenant, dirty, loud, which I was none of those things. So,
Let me say this. Most property managers do not care if you were a great tenant for 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 20 years. Most of them do not care because they are ran by a company. And in that company, you are a number. That company does not know your name. The managers may know your name. The managers and the leasing people may think you're great. But the company itself, they do not know who you are and they don't care. Their thing is that bottom line, getting that dollar in. So whether you've been there and been a great tenant, they don't care. This is the problem when it comes to renting versus buying and having your own property. They don't care. They just want that rent. They don't care how you get it to them. They just want that at the end of the month, and that's that. Probably, like I said, she probably tried to stay and talk to the leasing company, the manager, versus answering the court order. And that's probably why she had to move quicker than her neighbors. I'm not sure. I wasn't there, but I'm just assuming that may be what happened. Let's keep going.
I don't know. It's just a lot on my mind. It really, really is. And I'm trying my hardest to just stay strong and, yeah, and positive for the most part. You know. But right now, it's like, I don't know. I really don't. I can see the strip directly. They don't do any of that here. Yet they can throw up a $1 billion stadium working on another. All these new developments, all of these new casinos that they can throw up within 3 months or shoot 6 or however long it takes. You guys get me. You know, they throw them up like clockwork, you know. And it's like, I just feel like the people behind it all, it's more of like a money thing to them. So if you don't have money, that's on you. You know, it's just a lot behind this city. And I'm here, but I can't solely blame my issues on this city. But I just wish, and I'm just speaking, I guess, hypothetically, hoping to see some change and some turnaround, because that will clean up the homeless. You know, not everyone that's homeless wants to be homeless. You know, some people, may have given up, but can you blame them? You know, the reason I'm making this video is because I don't really have somebody that can, I just feel like one of the most misunderstood beings ever. Like, I don't have anyone that could truly just understand me, or. So you see right here, this young lady is just,
This young lady is really depressed. And sometimes it's so many reasons why people become homeless. And when our society is not set up to really help those who are homeless in the correct way. Politics to me is stupid. Okay. And I say that with all due respect to any politician, but some of the things that they do to me is stupid. If a person is hungry, you feed them. If they need a roof, you put a roof over their head. To me, it's not, rocket science. And for our politicians, they're so greedy and so busy in trying to make money for themselves in their projects that they don't look at what the people really need. There's no reason anywhere in this country for people to be this homeless. First of all, a mental illness needs to be addressed. Our veterans who have mental illness and who have you know, disabilities. They need to be properly cared for and they wouldn't be homeless. If you go and talk to a lot of homeless people, some of them just need a second chance. Some of them have mental illness, and then others have addictions. If we had things really set up to focus in on the different situations, then we would not have such a homeless situation. You got salt on?
Yeah.
Thank you, babe. So, Pluto, no. Bring me my tea out of the refrigerator, babe. So, y'all excuse my daughter brought me some fries. Pluto think he gonna get some. Believe it or not, y'all, Pluto love fries. For anybody, my new people, Pluto is the dog, and it don't that one. And he thinks he owns the house and everything else. He thinks he is the man of the house. So I have to get on him. Thank you, baby. So it's not rocket science, but they've made it rocket science. Uh, that it's so difficult to solve some of these problems, and it's not. If we can give billions to Ukraine and in all other places, we could put some of that money back into our own country, helping our own people out, and we could solve a lot of these problems. I tell you what, let me write some policies and give me $1 billion and see what happens. I promise you I can solve some of this. I promise you that. So this same young lady, I went back because I went on her site and I came to her. I found her. Wait a minute. I ain't mean to do that. Hold on, y'all. Let me go back. Okay. Pluto. So then I found her um up to a year ago. And I want to share that with you because I want to see where she was and did she get out of homelessness and how is she doing? Because I'm gonna tell y'all, being homeless is hard to get out of. So here she is. Here she is. This is up to a year ago, and let's share some of this with you where she's at.
I've been away from it. So I want to share with you guys a statement because hold on one second. Y'all, he's cheering every time I'm doing something. Here they come. Jesus. I swear I'm like a 60-year-old woman inside. Like, it's not even funny. I always bring out my inner Medea. Anyways, yes, so let's just jump into it. I want to show you guys what I lost in just 6 months last year, and then what this addiction has taken from me over the past 4.5 years, and really why I am just fucking at my wits end. I am done with this shit, and why I hope this can inspire someone out there.
So, as you see, she's talking about she has an addiction, and she doesn't have a drug addiction or anything like that, but she has a gambling addiction, and that gambling addiction is making her lose everything.
That is still, you know, caught up in this addiction. I hope this inspires you to just stop. Okay. So last year, my coin in was, hold on, let's get this to focus. Okay, so you guys know this is me. Oh my God, is it even focusing? I don't think so. Sorry, guys. All right, hold on. Sorry, I have to show you guys this way, but that's me. The devil, Dottie. And my coin in last year was $77,285.86. My coin out was $74,876.25. My total allegedly loss totals at a whopping $2,409.61. So basically, what this is telling me is that I am only down $2,409.61 for the year of 2020. All right, let's get back in the video. Y'all seen that?
So as you see, her addiction, she went in with $77,000. Okay. And it's saying that she was down $2,000 something dollars. Now, by her statement, what I am assuming is when they said down $2,000 some dollars, that is what she owes. Because she's talking that she doesn't have the $77,000 anymore. In 6 months, she spent $77,000 on her addiction. So that's why she said, "Do you know what I can do with that?"
You know, do you know what I can do with $77,000 right about now? This addiction has stolen years of my better judgment. Of course, the money, but I want you guys to know that I think I stated this briefly or tried to expound on it, but probably got distracted by something else. But you will never, ever attain any money lost, despite what amount it is. You will never attain that money back by continuing to gamble. So if you think that you're going to go into one of these casinos and you're going to break the bank and you're going to break one of these casinos and beat the house, it's a lie. Okay?
So, just to point out, that's probably one of her reasons, and we don't know whatever else, that she has been homeless and had to live in a hotel. I want to play this one for you guys.
So most of you don't know.
Now, this is by Rack Rios. Rack Rios. This is from his live. So when y'all get a chance, check it out. Check his. He has a nice little following. So check him out. He's got 74,000 subscribers. So check his channel out. But I want to play this because the young lady that he's playing is really talking about the homeless situation. I mean, the living in a hotel situation.
These housing prices are insane. The average rent in Atlanta for a 2-bedroom apartment is about $2,400 a month. That's just crazy to me.
She's correct.
People are thinking outside of the box in terms of places where their family can live. And so a lot of people have turned to extended stay hotels and motels with the average cost monthly being around $1,200. These places have become the new home for so many people that in March of this year, a Georgia court ruled in favor of these long-term residents of these extended stay places, in that the proprietors cannot evict them with like they're just staying at a hotel. They have to go through formal eviction processes, which can be very lengthy. I mean,
So what she's saying here is, after you have stayed extended stay for 90 days, they have to go through a normal eviction process with you. That is the law in Georgia. So once you've been there 90 days, folks, they can't just put your stuff out. If they do, it's against the law and you can probably sue them. And that's why I said I'm going to give you some little nuggets that may help some of you. I'm going to split the video a little bit.
a pretty dangerous, not great place to live. So if the average price is $2,400, a nice safe area would probably be in the 3,000s plus. So I don't really blame people when they have a tough time that they go down to legitimately half $1,200 and start living in these long-term hotels. Now, I've never been in a long-term hotel, just a normal plain one, but with so many people living there and calling it their home, they're starting to have issues with eviction. Now, clearly, a lot of the people who are living there are because they're struggling. So if they don't really have much money, they're going to get kicked to the curb a lot easier than it would be.
So, as you see, there are a lot of people who are staying, and there's one guy I wanted to play. He stays in a hotel not because he's homeless, but just
saying that we
because
won't
it's
get it
cheaper.
back ever in life.
Let me find, just because it's cheaper for him. Let me find where he's at. He stays because he said, "Hey, paying all that money, it's cheaper for me to stay in an extended stay." And that's sad that you can get a hotel cheaper than an apartment, because one thing about once you get in a hotel, of course, you don't have to pay utilities and things like that. So for, I guess, a single person who may be really looking for something, it's better for them. So let me move this back. I'm gonna share this. So that's why he's staying there. He says, "Hey, it's cheaper. That's why I'm there." But isn't that sad that we have gotten to that point? Because to be honest with you, rent nowadays costs more than to purchase, and it's just crazy.
Some things that will make living here comfortable and successful, and some things that will cause you to get put out back. I want to show you all what I mean when I say get put out back. You know, there's some behaviors that you have to abide by. You know, because for all intents and purposes, this might seem like an efficiency apartment or something like that.
Join his channel.
But this is a hotel. This is a hotel, and you don't necessarily have a lease living in a hotel. You know, and there's some things that will get you put out back. Now you see this area right here, this little alleyway right here. Whenever I show my plants, that's what I mean by out back.
Now remember in Georgia, if you have been in the extended stay hotel for over 90 days, they have to do a formal eviction on you. They just can't come and lock you out. But also remember, in a hotel, there are no grace periods. There are no grace periods. So when you are late, they will put you out. I'm going to show y'all one more young man, and then I am going to let me find it. I think is that it. I'm gonna show you one more young man, then I'm gonna share some little tidbits with y'all. Where'd he go?
You know, Bray Hotel for maybe 6 months now. Okay. I went from living on the streets, man. Living right on the streets. I'm talking about park benches.
Shout out to Mari's Vibe.
Riding the bus.
Got it from
every single day. Just riding on the bus, standing on the bus in cold weather like this season right now where I live in the Midwest, it's fucking cold. Excuse my language. It's cold, man. Snowing, all type of stuff. So when it's cold like that, I get on the bus and I ride it all day until I need to go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Until the bus goes to the bus barn and done with their shift. Until the next morning when the buses start running again about 7 in the morning, 6 or 7 in the morning, right? Where I live at, the buses are only $1 to ride them. You know what I mean? But if you go like on a college campus, they're free to get on the bus and ride it. You know what I mean? So sometimes I will have to walk to the campus, you know what I mean, just to get on the bus for free if I don't have $1. You know what I mean? So yeah, you guys, I was living on the streets, shit, man, for a long time, man. And then I started working. You know what I mean? I started working while living on the streets, shelters and stuff like that. Ended up getting fired. Long story short, I got sick. The lady, my boss, didn't want me to come back to work, fired me, even though I had a doctor's note. So I ended up getting unemployment for that for like a year. You know what I mean? And with that check, since I didn't have like rent and stuff like that, I just saved all them checks up, and I would spend like maybe $50 to $100 a month to like eat. You know what I mean? Because I needed to eat, so I would eat McDonald's or fast food maybe twice a week, stuff like that. You right? And then I would go like food pantries and get like different snacks and stuff like that to snack through the day. It's free at the food pantries. You know what I'm saying?
So here's a young man. He was struggling, homeless on the streets, got a job while he was homeless, you know, and he got sick, got fired. And, but he didn't let that hold him down because he saved his money from his unemployment and got into the hotel because he didn't have what it takes to get into rental. So let's talk about, before I do it, I'm gonna play this, and then we're gonna talk about rentals. I mean, why it may be hard for you to get into a rental, and what can you do? So I'm gonna play this right quick.
CBS 46, the fastest growing news in Atlanta.
Tonight, many people who have already lost their jobs are now fearing they'll lose their homes, and it is especially unnerving for those living rights just like everyone else.
Rent is due, and countless Georgians don't have the money right now. The coronavirus pandemic causing layoffs and shutdowns.
She told me that my job was on hold, of course, because of the coronavirus, but hold that the food in my belly won't pay for this room.
So a lot of people, when COVID happened, we know could not pay their rents and everything was a disaster. But that's the thing, guys, and especially for our young people, they need to understand these landlords don't care. The majority of them. You are their bread and butter, the way they make their money. And when you don't pay them, they look at it like, hey, I'm missing money. They don't look at it like this is a person, this is a human being that I don't need to put out in the cold. That's not what they look at. These companies are there to make money. They need your money. And when you don't pay, they will put you out. Luckily, during COVID, they made it where landlords could not put you out. Of course, it did put a strain on some landlords. But however, it gave people extra time to get themselves together. So, what do we do? What do we do when we find ourselves in these situations? Here in Atlanta, you have to make 3 to 4 times the rent. Even if you have a roommate, one of you, I think both of you, I know one of you have to make 2.5 times the rent. And then the other one has to make 2.5 times the rent or 2 times the rent. Some companies vary. But that's a lot of money, not stating that you couldn't pay it. So say, for instance, if you had rent that was $700 a month or $699 a month, the way they normally do it for specials. And I'm just doing a low ball number because we know rents in Atlanta are $1,200 up, most of them. But that means that if you had that $700 a month, you would have to make $2,100 a month just before they will rent to you. So if you made 1,800, 1,900, you won't qualify. So if you're a person working a normal job, you're working Walmart, you're working CVS, or you're working at a restaurant or wherever, and you're not making a lot of money, it's very unlikely you're going to be able to rent from a lot of these companies and these apartment complexes, because they're looking for you to make 3 to 4 times the rent, whatever that rent is. So if that rent is $1,200, times that by 3, you need to at least be bringing in $3,600 a month, and that's you alone. Okay, if you are doing a roommate thing, you have to make 2.5 times, and then your roommate has to make it. So this is what we're facing. We're facing the fact that people are not making 3 and 4 times the rent. So you ask yourself, what do you do? For people who may have a little income, they go to these extended stay hotels. Now, with the extended stay hotels, guys, the rents there are not cheap, but it's cheaper than 2,000 or 3,000. And if you can't get anywhere else, you take it. Now, sometimes you get a nice extended stay, but not all of them are nice. They don't really take care of those type of hotels on certain parts of town. So, but the rent is still going to be high. So say, for instance, the rent bi-weekly is cheaper than per day. So you want to find one that does bi-week that you can afford. So say, for instance, you find one, it may be $289 a week. Okay. Well, at the end of the day, that's about $1,200 a month that you may be able to pay, because you don't have to have electric. You don't pay no electric. You don't pay no water, not paying garbage, and you're not paying for cable or Wi-Fi. So that kind of saves, except for you just don't get the room and the freedoms that you would if you had your own apartment. So for some people, it works. It's cheaper. And so now, because so many people are starting to live in extended stays, Georgia had to come out with the law that, hey, after 90 days, these people, that's their home. So you have to go through a regular eviction. So when you're one of those people who say, look, I'm on disability. I don't make that kind of money. I don't bring in $1,200. I bring in $980 a month. So for a person like that, who you only bringing in $980 a month, and this one I want. I'm looking for something, y'all. You only bring in $980 a month. What do you do if extended stay is $1,200? So with those kind of situations, they come up, that person may be able to stay in the extended stay for 3 weeks, but then they have a week that they are, on the street. So let's see here. I'm trying to find someone. I'm talking to you guys. Okay. So what do you do? So that's what I'm pulling up. I'm gonna give you guys some little tidbits. Now there are always places out there that that can help, always. And it's just finding the help. I know when I worked as a social service director, that it was always places that would help. But most of the time, no one knew anything about those, anything about where to go, how to go, who to talk to. This ain't the right one I'm looking for. Let me go back. Let's see. I think this is it. Okay. All right. I'm at the right thing. Okay. I'm going to share this with you guys. We're going to talk about when you find yourself in a situation. That's what I want. Now, what I find is me. Let's see if I can make that bigger for you guys. Okay. Boom. That's what I need. So what I find is that why do you get so small? Okay, I don't know. No, that's not what I want. Okay. So what I find is that me being in real estate, I run into a lot of people that's having problems finding places to stay, affordable places to stay. Normally, the least expensive places are going to be in, I would say, less favorable neighborhoods. And a lot of people don't want to move to less favorable neighborhoods. But when you are in certain situations, sometimes that's all you can do. And I tell them to do their research and find out about that neighborhood, because you can actually pull up reports on the crime in those neighborhoods free. I always tell people in the evening times, whatever neighborhood that you're looking to move into, ride through in the evening time after everyone is off work. That tells you what kind of neighborhood it is. That's when more of the activity will happen. But another thing that you can do is you can go on website www.211.org. That is United Way. And what we're going to do, and on here, as you can see, and they have one, you just put in your state. If you go online, put in your state and everything, and then it will lead you to your state and what they offer. So we got caregiver resource, mental health, new to U.S. You can partnership with them and more. Here we go. Housing expenses, utility expenses. So when you click on these, what it will do is it will give you different people and different organizations that help in that area. So what we're trying to do is find the page for let me see if I can find it. Let's see. We're trying to find the page for pay my bills resources. Okay, it's not what I want. Disaster recovery. This one's a little different. Let's see here. I don't know what got me in Los Angeles, but I just, let me do Atlanta, because I know Atlanta better. But we're going to do Atlanta. Let's do Atlanta. Way of Greater Atlanta. Let's do that. Okay. Now, what I am looking for is housing. So as you see, you pull up, things come up. Workforce. Now, Workforce Enterprise is for youth, helps young people. They train you and then help you get into jobs. And some of it, they don't even have to train you. They can put you into jobs pretty quickly. So let's see here. Let's go down here and see what we got. It's been a while since I've been on the site. So let's go to 211. 211, you can call it or you can visit it. But 211 is where you normally will find all your resources and call. You can call 211 and say, hey, I'm homeless. I'm looking for shelter. I'm looking for housing. Can you help? Hey, Texas. Happy Tuesday to you too. We're just in here. I'm kind of going over why people are living in hotels and giving them some pointers on what they may be able to do. Okay, so when you go to 211, I don't want you. So when you go to 211 United Way, you will see that there is a board of things. And let me tell you guys, it is a lot of organizations out there to help. You just have to find the right one. And this is not going to be easy. You're going to have to go through some things. Whether it is you're looking for help with clothing, food, counseling. Most cities have food pantries. Most churches you will find have food pantries. So if you're hungry, you can go to those food pantries and eat free. They can give you clothing. If you're looking for free education, free training, go to this 211 employment assistance. Go to 211. Use this app. This is what they're there for. Okay. Financial assistance, health and dental. Okay. There are some doctors and things out there that will help you. Shelter and housing. Let's hit it. Okay. It wants my zip code city. Let's just put Atlanta in. Let's put DeKalb County. See what they got. DeKalb County is one of the biggest counties. So let's do it and see what DeKalb got. I put the thing in, y'all messing with me. I'm not sure what DeKalb County zip code is, y'all. We'll just do that. See what happens. Okay. All right. Here we go. Affordable housing. Here we go. I understand, girl. It has been. It's been long for me too. Let me show you this right quick. Okay. So we're at affordable housing, subsidized housing, community shelters, domestic violence, ex-offender housing, family support, foster homes, group homes, homeless services, hotels. So hotels, of course, is all the extended stay hotels, and more than likely they have their names and prices. Let's go to affordable housing. Okay. So they have different type of shelters. Now, one thing about shelters people need to understand, shelters are normally government assisted. They get grant money for those. And so they have to have so many beds per group. So say, for instance, you have a shelter that has 250 beds. And 100 of those beds are for men, 50 of those beds are for women and children, and another 50 are for veterans. So say, for instance, that the women's side, all 50 have been taken up. But there's nobody on the side where the veterans are. They cannot put the women over there. Those beds have to be strictly for veterans. So this is why it makes it very difficult for people who are homeless, because if you're not one of the first ones to get one of those beds, you're out. That after that side or that group is filled, they can't let you in if you don't fit into that group. So here we have housing authority, housing assistance, HUD counseling, low cost home rental list. Let's go there. low cost home rental list. Let's see who's on there. Okay, we got rentalhousingdeals.com. We've got Georgia Housing Search. And we've got a resource for residents. Let's try this one. Okay, yeah, we'll do that later. I don't want to do that now. I don't want to do that. Let's, where was I? Those cost rentals. Let's go here. Okay, it tells you, I'm looking for that other list. It's another list that pops up. I think it's because of the, you got Section 8 vouchers, Section 8 assistance, shared faculties. Family permanent supports housing. That's what we want. So what I'm trying to show is, and I'm not really getting to the one I want. Like I said, I haven't been on here for a while. So you have to do your research. But what you find is that when you're pulling up, it will give you a different list. Let me see. This ain't the one I was looking at. Okay. It will give you a different list of affordable housing. And that's what you want. Why keep giving me that one? You want the list, and then you can go. Let's put this in affordable. I need to do that. Let's do housing list. Okay. Now, you know, they're going to always try to, of course, give you classes and things like that to help. And I recommend that people take advantage of all of that, because a lot of times at the end of those classes and courses, you grow a relationship with those people, and they're more likely to help you. I don't know what Atlanta's. Let's try it. Is that Decatur? Okay, let's try that. And you need relationships with people, guys, to get help. You need relationships. Okay. That's what we want. We want affordable housing, family support. Let's see, homeless, government subsidized private rental housing list. Let's see what this is. They don't have anything in Decatur. Okay. Let's go back and see what they got. Okay. So Housing Authority, they have housing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 listed for Housing Authority. And of course, these are more Section 8 kind of houses that why it's not showing. You know what? But I pulled up. Let me X out of that one, X out of that one. And let me try to do this. I'm thinking y'all seeing what I'm pulling up. Y'all ain't seeing nothing. Oh, guys, and two, I think I'm going to go to Restream after this. I don't think I'm going to stay with StreamYard. StreamYard is kind of acting crazy. Okay, so as you can see, when you go on the 211 site, and you're going to have to play around with it, put in things, make phone calls. There are housing lists out there of apartment complexes, the housing authority, people who take Section 8, how to get Section 8, vouchers, all this information you can get through United Way. It's not going to be easy. People are not just going to you'll be lucky if you find someone who really, really just give you all the information right out front and a helping hand. It's just the way people are. But if you continue to do the research, take notes, call people, tell them what you want, tell them what you're looking for, what area you would like to be in, they can help you to find affordable housing. It may not happen overnight, but they can help you find it. They can help you find shared housing, companionship housing, or wherever it may be. They can help you. Domestic violence, they have shelters for that if you are in that situation. You just have to call. You have to use these tools. And sometimes, guys, we have to crawl before we walk, as they say. It may not be, it's not going to be pretty. It's going to be hard. At one point in my life, I was struggling. I understand struggle, and I understand hard, and I understand having to go and ask people for help. And I guess that's why to this day, I don't like asking people for anything, because it was so hard when I needed help from people, getting help from people. It was very difficult. And so I'm one of those people. I just don't like asking people for anything. That's just who I am. And so I understand it. But when you're in these situations and you're living in a hotel with your family and you want to get out, you have to push pride aside and you got to do what you got to do. You got to buckle down. You got to get your job. You got to maybe have to get you 2 jobs. You got to save some money and you got to knock on some doors and ask some questions. You got to ask some questions. You got to ask for help. Get the help that's out there. All these agencies that you will find on this 211 site, they're getting grant money and stuff for this. Okay, they're getting grant money. They're getting paid. Okay, so put them to work. Have them go to work. Okay, what is a land neighborhood partnership? I don't know. I'll just give me the address. Why don't they give me their website? That's kind of crazy. They should give you their website, not just their address. But yeah, have them make their money. Georgia Housing. Let's do a Georgia Housing search. Okay. So Georgia Housing search low income subsidized private rental housing. So they've got a website. Let's go with here and see what they got. But guys, you're going to have to do some research. You're going to have to take some time out and look. And then you're going to have to call and go by. I tell my daughter all the time, I said, sometimes phone calls don't do it. Sometimes you got to show up at people's doors. So this is my housing search. Find rentals. Find housing in your state. Let's see what they come up with. I think it's trying to make me log in. I ain't doing all that. Interstate. Oh, I'm putting zip codes in interstate, Georgia. Here you go. So GeorgiaHousingCert.org. Okay, let's enter. Make them 130015. See what come up. Okay. Let's try. Let's try this one. Okay, it says it came up with 20 properties. All right, so as you can see, they got a senior living. Ooh, that's high. They've got one in Conyers, 13, 15. And as you can see, guys, these places are not like super nice, but they, 1,500. So that means you probably have to make 3 times the rent. Now, some of these, because they're on the affordable housing list, may be a little cheaper, but this is not a good list. Okay. So you might want to start, look for some income restricted houses. We might want to look for, like I said, if you're senior housing is always good. And Section 8, if you have a voucher, and if you don't have a voucher, try to get one. But there are all kind of different ways we can look, but you're going to have to search. You're going to have to research and see if you can find something. And what I found is a lot of the lower apartments are not listed on Zillow, on for rent in places like that. They're not listed on those properties. So do your research. Use United Way 211 and use United Way for whatever you may need, whether that's housing, clothes, food, rental assistance, utility assistance, domestic violence shelter. There are even some programs that they have for women who have been in domestic violence, and they put them in houses. That's one of the qualifications. You just have to go in United Way and find it. Use your local churches. We can say whatever we want about churches, but the fact of the matter is, without those churches, a lot of our people would suffer. A lot of those churches are there. They have food pantries, clothes pantries. Some of them will help you with finding housing. Some of them will help you with paying your utilities and things like that. So use what's local around you, guys. And I know when you're in that situation, it's depressing. You lose energy and all of that, but you have to fight through it. You have to go out there and find what you got to find and do what you got to do. Okay? Use that United Way. So thanks, Texas Bama, for joining. Like I said, it wasn't going to be long. I've been on an hour and I'm out of here. I just want to share that with you guys. Let's step up to the plate. Don't forget that Chief Cali is doing an event February the 22nd for the homeless. He's trying to give each homeless person a tent. So if you have we found tents on Walmart and Amazon. They run $20. It will house 2 people. They also have sleeping bags on there that start at $24, $25. If you have coats or whatever, please help our people out. Help your folks out. Help your neighbors, because these are our neighbors. All right. Hey guys, thanks again. Share this information so some people who may find themselves in that situation one day can help themselves out of that situation. So share this information. And as I always say, guys, I love you guys. But guess what? God loves you best. Until the next time I speak with y'all, much love.